All right. Hey. I'm backside. Oh, man. Today's book. I've been reading this book all week, man. This is probably one of the best books I ever read. Like, I never heard of this man, Alexandra Solzhenitsyn. I got to do the Google pronounce. I can't pronounce this guy's name. His name is Alexander
Alexander Solzhenitsyn.
Solzhenitsyn. In this Gulag Archipelago. Archipelago. Like since I've been doing a lot of reading, I've been blessed to have a lot of time since I've been off, just do a lot of reading. And man, like sometimes I feel cheated. I understand we all walk our own path, but sometimes I feel cheated because I'm like, man, if I would have read this book when I was 18, you know. I mean, I never heard of this guy until like this guy Jordan Peterson always talks about him. And oh man, it's just I was born and raised in the United States of America. I feel like I'm supposed to have access to what's going on in the world, but I'm almost 40 years old and I'm just finding out about this. This went on actually while I was alive. I remember on TV when I was a child, my dad would always watch the news and they would always be talking about the Soviet Union and Russia and communism. But at that age, I had no idea what they was talking about or how it affected me. I thought it was just those people over there cutting up or whatever. But I read this book. First, I mean, the book is about this guy. He was actually in the army. Then he was arrested and he was sent to what's called the Gulag. If you don't know what it is, Google it. It was basically a prison system. I think about in American history after slavery was officially abolished, how they would set up these camps and have vagrancy laws, and they would just arrest you for just basically anything because they needed the labor. That's what I thought about when I read this. A lot of people talk about, oh, it's a it's a denouncing of communism and all. And I guess, you can get that from that, because some of the stuff and the way that they use, some of the tactics that they use, even like on Twitter and with this Judge Kavanaugh and all, how they denounce people and they just basically they can just accuse you of anything. That was going on in Russia. Like if your neighbor accused you of being an enemy of the people, then you were just taken in, no trial, anything. But I don't even want to look at it from that angle. I just like to look at it from how he talked about the gulag was actually needed in order to keep the economy going. They needed that cheap labor. So I see similarities in between communism and capitalism. And I'm sure there's a lot of videos where, they'll bash Stalin and all. And I feel like I'm past that. If you still think communism and Lenin and all these people is something good, then God bless you. I've reached a conclusion that capitalism is the best system. It's not perfect, but I think it's the best system where you can get the most people happy or basically alive. We have one of the highest standards of living, and the communists want to talk about the Scandinavian countries, but leave me out of that. I've had that conversation before, but the thing that shocked me about this was how they was just giving these people so much time, and it's kind of the same way today. Not that they can just drag you in for anything, but once you get caught up in a criminal justice system, basically you are what they call a zek. You got these guys. They got the guys right now. They're working on computers and doing computer programming for 10 cents an hour. You know, Sometimes I think like, man, because I work, I want to work at a library. I'm like, if I get arrested, I probably could get that job quick in the penitentiary. So I'm just looking at the similarities, man, and how this guy persevered through all that. I think he did like 8 years, and he talked about how, man, some people killed themselves or became stool pigeons, and he talked about how the women basically became sex slaves to the guards, and how they starved these people and didn't work them all day and didn't even give them enough to eat, locked them in with all these guys. He said they took showers every 10 days. I mean, some of the stories, I'm sitting here reading this book and I'm like, God, we are so blessed. I mean, it makes me not want to complain the little that I go through, like, man, these guys went through some horrid times, and this actually happened. This guy was able to come through and write this book, and they say it was instrumental in knocking the whole Soviet Union down or whatever. But just to have the perseverance to do that, even to come out with a sane mind, because a lot of people end it, but man, you come through something like that, you just want to go into a hole and die, or just drink till you die. So, man, this man, I was watching a video, and the guy was saying, when you're younger, you look up to like Michael Jordan and, Eddie Murphy or whoever. But as you start getting older, you start to learn about people like this, So Yeskin, I mean, this guy went through hell, man, and lived till he was 90 years old. It's just amazing. This is definitely one of the books I'm going to buy. And I mean, I think this, I understand it's kind of blasting communism and socialism. So the public schools that's probably why I never heard of it. But man, if you're seeing this video, and for my son, if you're watching this video, this is one of the books you have to read in your lifetime if you want to call yourself an educated individual. I mean, I can't stop thinking about it, laying in bed just thinking about it. Like, man, this really went on in Russia, and that Russian Revolution was like in 1917. That's the same year my grandmother was born, and I just wonder, like, if she knew what was going on over there. If she knew, I guess she had an idea, because even in the 80s they were talking about how they were in a free country and how they were lining up. I remember that as a small child. I remember people talk, oh, in Russia they have to line up for bread. They can't just go into the store, because of communism. I didn't understand that then, but I still understand it now, and it's just sad. And I don't want to make this a political video, but it's like the American left, what they doing is so scary, because when you read stuff like this, you're like, man, they doing the same thing. With this Me Too movement and all. Like, yeah, I mean, it's gonna just come a day where anybody just start getting accused of rape, they're just gonna lock you up. I mean, it's just so scary. It's very, very scary. This in 1984, it's like, man, these guys seen the future, or they created the future. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm really into right now. I'm into Russian history. I don't know why. I'm just following a path. So Gulag Archipelago. I guess Dostoevsky sent me here. But this book is intense, man. Intense. I've been watching a lot of different videos of people talking about it. So one of the books that is probably going to affect me for the rest of my life. There's a 50th anniversary one that's coming out this year, because I think it was published in 68. So I definitely gonna buy that. So Gulag, have a good day, man. Read that book. Very important. Read that book.